Hello, Internet. Welcome back. This is Conserving 915. Where we last left off was looking at Biden and his crooked deals. So we see here Biden to sign executive order authorizing U.S. to turn away migrants at Mexico border, according to the El Paso Times. Well, looks like we did it, boys. Biden finally did something about it. Or did he? Well, maybe most people who just look at the headline might say, "Oh, there you go, Republicans. Are you happy now? He's finally doing something about it. You keep bitching about it." Well, not so much. Remember a few episodes back we said just read down a little bit. Right away it tells us. So conditions for closure will be automatically triggered when more than 2,500 migrants enter the country between legal ports of entry. Right. So, what does this mean exactly? He just gave free passage for at the very least 2,500 people per day.
Well, more than that because that's in between ports.
Yeah. Well, that's between ports.
So if you count the ports and figure out how many are in between,
that's what I'm saying. At the very least,
that's probably still the same. It's like, and then he claims that he had to do this because Republicans would not work on a deal to hire more border patrol or to keep people out. But the thing about it is that I don't think Republicans went with this plan because I think he wanted to use all these new staff to add to the welcoming committee.
Yeah, to make it easier for them to pass by.
To pass instead of putting them there for what they're supposed to be there for.
Not only that, but there was millions and millions going to NGOs, the non-government organizations, to probably help facilitate the illegal immigration into the United States.
And not only that,
which unfortunately I think was included in this last Ukraine bill anyway.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And not only that, billions were going to go to foreign interests. Yep. So, of course, Republicans were not going to go for something like this.
And it's not only that, because we can't even be sure if they're going to actually help these people out to stabilize the situation here. As in, it's just feeding them and housing them. That's it. Like giving them jobs, making them like responsible people of society. Since they're already here,
might as well.
No, not even that. They're not even helping them in doing
that. So, guess what, guys? Nothing happened. This supposed crackdown. And the El Paso Times, they do frame this as this really strict border policy that Biden is about to enact, and he was forced by Republicans to do it.
He was forced because even his own people are turning against him. So,
like, hey, you got to do something about this.
As soon as I read this, I raised my eyebrow because this is the same president who said as soon as he was elected, he encouraged people to quote unquote search the border.
We want the search. We want a search.
Not only that too, but his own administration was very, very part of rescinding over 90 Trump era policies, such as remain in Mexico as soon as he became president. So once I started reading through the actual quote unquote deal, it's absolute absurdity. This doesn't do anything in order to reduce the amount of illegals that are crossing over the border, and it's just a nice dog and pony show for all the dummies, all the Democrats who actually fall for and believe the Democrat propaganda that comes out day in and day out.
Right, exactly.
And see, another thing that I'm having trouble with is if he's doing this, I'm guessing he's doing this because he thinks it's correct. So it's just where does he really stand? Because for the past 3.5 years, he's been saying that it's correct to just let anybody in. Mm-hmm. So how did it become from being the correct thing to do, or to being incorrect all of a sudden? I guess election time is coming up. He's tapping into besides this, he's also tapping into
the moderates who don't read past the headlines.
Well, I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy now. He's also tapping into the oil reserve, right? So I can tell you guys right now, gas prices will probably go down in the next couple of weeks or months, right? Mm-hmm. And why is that? Because Biden he's a liar. He's a liar. Again, I'll even say I don't think he won the election. Legit. All these early voting. I used to be all for that early voting and all that stuff, and I know I'm kind of veering off, but I just want to point out the hypocrisy of this guy. you know, the early voting, I used to think, hey, that's cool, so people can go vote. But I mean, a whole 30 days, and then on top of that, the mail-in voting. To me, it's just I'm seeing that just opens the door to a bunch of fraud. And I saw an interview with him about 2 days ago where he's saying, Americans, we have to understand that elections take a couple of days for us to figure out who the winner is. I'm like, since when does
Yeah,
it take a couple of days? Since he got, since he got installed. I don't even want to say he got elected. Ever since he got installed, we've always known who the president is that same night. And
Yep.
you figure with technology and everything, now he's telling us, oh guys, we have to be patient. It's gonna take us a couple of days to figure out who the winners are. And to me, he's just setting up this. I mean, he's just in all the polls. He's way behind. Even in their own polls, they're behind.
If you see the aggregates, yes, because you'll see an instance here and there that shows Biden up, but
Yeah, where
when you do the entire aggregate of all of them, like it shows time and time again that Trump is taking leads.
Yeah, even in the battleground states,
Mhm.
you know. So, anyways, I know I kind of veered off, but yeah, that's just pointing out how these guys are not consistent. They're only, you know, wherever they need to go, that's where they go at the expense of the country.
I mean, even third world countries, they complete their elections in a single day. Even if the CIA goes in a few weeks or a few months later to complete a coup, they still complete their elections in the same day.
They do their coups a lot more efficiently than here, right?
Yeah.
How many days did Mexico spend to know who won the election?
I think they did it. They did it that same day, and they got all their voting done that same day. And I think they need IDs, and I don't know. I've been kind of looking at, and I'm, you know, a lot of countries have rigged elections, but I've been looking at their timelines. They don't have all this early
Weeks.
voting and weeks and weeks, and
Weeks
then
after the election is
bags
complete.
of ballots showing up late at night. That's just
Unfolded, mailed in ballots.
yeah.
None of that. You'd
And-
think here in the U.S., with all our advancements in technology, we can get it right.
Well, with all those advancements, they can also rig them with the
No.
with the
We did-
hackers. You know.
We did get it right. We got our most voted president in history.
80 million votes.
Amen.
That's unbelievable. No,
That's a victory, guys.
I really mean that. Anyways, and then I had another point to make. Oh, I'll remember right now. So, anyways, yeah.
Okay, so let's read on a little bit here. The executive order addresses one aspect of migration. Asylum seekers who, rather than sneaking over the border, cross and turn themselves into border agents. Now, why would they do that? Why would they turn themselves into the agents?
Was the welcoming committee?
Yeah, because they're just gonna be walked right in.
We gotta give them their sandwiches, guys.
Yeah.
They gotta get
And
fed.
their phones and
Their phones, their backpacks,
I mean,
travel papers, their ticket, their flight, their airport tickets.
make sure they get their flights and their airline points and all that.
And I did speak to some people in my day to day, and one guy he's not very in tune with politics, but he has like noticed a lot of weird stuff where it just doesn't make sense. Some of them get shipped out somewhere else. You see a pool of these are his words. You see pools of or groups of criminal aliens just wandering the streets like downtowns. But the point is, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, or some of their ones are there in detention facilities. It almost seems like there's no organization, not as in a like an establishment
I think there is a lot of organization to get them in here.
to get them in here, but then to
But
sort them
once
out.
they're here, it's like
To sort them out. Some of them get just they're out in the street. Some of them are moving up to Sparks. Some of them are being held in some kind of detention facility, and some are being shipped out by airplane.
Well, New York police
Or
are
bus.
not going to assault themselves.
Well, jeez. Okay. Well, what happens to the migrants once they're here? Well, in some cases, as we see here, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri telling him to end covert mass amnesty by dismissing thousands of migrant cases. Now, what is he saying here? Well, he did write a sternly worded letter, which is what most Republicans do. Like, that's pretty much all we're good for, guys.
Yeah.
But the point is that it looks like these cases are just being dismissed. And even though it is not technically an amnesty action, effectively it is, because now they can just wander around without a care in the world because the cases have been dropped.
And if you've been following our content for a while, we've actually posted an asylum judge that was giving testimony to Congress who was saying that the majority of these cases didn't meet the qualifications for asylum in the United States. But
Yeah, but they're already here.
effectively, they're all being dismissed.
And I don't, because asylum, I guess they're kind of scared to be in their country, right? But they don't look that scared when they're rushing the National Guard here and just rushing the border, and then there was like over 100, right? They got them in jail, and then they let him go the next day.
Pretty much.
So what kind of a message are you sending? You can, I mean, it's no wonder why they go to New York and beat up the cops, or that poor girl that was going out for a jog that Biden called a Lincoln, right? I mean, that's why these guys. I mean,
God rest your soul. Yeah.
you know that's why. Yeah, there's good people. Of course, there's good people in there, but if we can save just one life, right?
Then we should probably stop all this mass amnesty. Effectively, it is mass amnesty, like, even though it is not technically. So
Mass amnesty and mass representation for the Democrats. That's another thing that upsets me. It's like these Democrats; these are their voters. Okay,
it's the long game.
if
Yeah.
all these guys voted Republican, I've told you guys, these Democrats they'll have the wall up yesterday. These guys are just, and they make themselves out to be like these real caring people, but they always help people out with someone else's money. That's another issue that I have, that they're not caring people. They're just using they're using us and them as pawns, and that is not right. To cheat your way into it with illegal immigration and get representatives that way, that's not right. And all these Republicans that don't do anything about it, that's probably even worse.
I mean,
Most
sure. They don't do much more other than do hearings and like what Josh Hawley does here is write letters, sternly worded letters to the administration. Well, what can they do? Like, let's say, unless there is a majority in both chambers of Congress, then what can the Republicans do about all this?
Well, you know what they
Mass
can
migration.
do when, like the Democrats are really good at it. They'll smear you for jaywalking. What the Republicans need to do is throw the book at them too, whenever possible. They always, and even Trump did it. He's all like, "I'm going to prosecute all these people. I'm not even going to name names." And then he got in there. He didn't do anything about it. And the things they did compared to him were a lot worse. And look at what they're doing to Trump. So I think what you need to do is, hey, you know what? The door's open.
Yeah, you set the precedent,
You
guys.
set the precedent. I think, you know what? When Trump goes in, do the same thing. Investigate all these things that happen with other administrations.
You get a bunch of lefties saying, "Oh, thank God they finally got him. They got him. He's a felon, Trump.
Nobody's above the law.
Nobody's above the law."
Yeah.
And then Trump says that he came out on Tim Pool with Tim Pool. Just they did a quick interview, and he did ask him, like, people think that you need to, if you win, that you need to jail all these people. He included people like Fauci, Obama, and just a bunch of other officials, even or previous officials.
Or maybe you're just the son of a president who happens to be a crack sniffing drug
Oh yeah,
addict
he did mention
who
Hunter as
buys
well.
guns and lies on firearms applications. Then you're off the hook,
And Biden, Joe Biden, he did commit the quid pro quo crime. He with
Ukraine. He's the one that got a Ukrainian lawmaker fired.
Yeah,
because
exactly. He got a lawyer fired who was looking into the energy
because
company that was
Burisma,
Hunter. Yeah, that Hunter was a board member.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes people get frustrated because all we hear is like some really loud bark but no bite. We hear a lot of congressional testimony, strongly worded letters, like you just
exactly.
said. But
So, anyways,
I'm a huge fan of Thomas Jefferson, and he always thought it was like really important to share like wisdom and intelligence with people. And I think like this stuff is really important because I think there's some people who it might like have an open mind who start reading all this stuff and hearing it, and they'd be like, shoot, maybe these guys are right, and start opening their minds a little bit, you know.
That was actually going to be my next point. Is like, it is a good thing that there are hearings and strongly worded letters and reports of these things that Republicans are able to do, because they don't have the power to do much more. But the reason that it's a good thing is because it gets at the very least the word out, and public opinion may little by little switch over and be like, hey man, yeah, these Democrats, they are corrupt.
And there's even Democrats that are like opening their eyes now and seeing how corrupt and evil all the stuff that's going on. Oh, you guys mind if I read it? One of the quotes?
Yeah, do it.
Like, he has a lot of really awesome writings. I highly suggest you check them out. But I really love this one. Educate and inform the mass of the people, enable them to see that it is their interest to preserve peace and order, and they will preserve them. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppression of the body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. I love it. But he's got like a lot of really good writings like that.
Well, it kind of ties back to the other one. Like, it's better to have more information. Like, let the people sort them out. Have faith in the people that they will be able to make the right decisions. But they can't make the right decisions if all they're being fed is garbage, both informational garbage and literal, chemical garbage down our gullets.
Well, then there's two tactics that the mainstream media uses. They flat out lie to you, or they just keep stories out of the paper, just like they did with Malinowski, the guy who was murdered by the ATF.
And we have a bunch of.
At night. We uploaded like a bunch of videos from the congressional testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
you guys check that out. It's important stuff.
Now his widow is raising the kids all by herself, and this guy had no previous criminal record.
And even when another tactic they use is they try and make you out into a racist, into
conspiracy
all these things, like this clown right here, Mayorkas. They're asking him about his lack of control on the border, and he busts out with the fact that his parents were, or his relatives were in a concentration camp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course that's a horrible thing to do, but why are you throwing that out there, making it seem
you're
like
being critiqued for doing such a horrible job.
For doing a horrible job. And they make you out to be a racist or whatever. Any little thing.
Yeah.
If like that other lady, the black congresswoman, the one that said, if you see him, go after them, make a crowd. Maxine Waters. So she's encouraging people to harass public officials that she doesn't agree with in public, and you harass them, you go out there, you make them feel uncomfortable, you make them leave wherever they're at, and then they do it to her, and she claims that it's racism. Yep. That's just horrible. Those games are getting old. I mean, it's not racism. I mean, it's not. Just if someone disagrees with you, you can't play the race card whenever you want to, especially when you called for that same action on other people.
Right.
I guarantee you that there's
horrible.
some lefties that are listening to us, but like they don't see that we're brown. They'd probably be like, these guys are just a bunch of white supremacists.
Look at this guy.
Nazis.
He's wearing a white shirt. That tells you everything.
But since we're not white, they're calling us other things.
Yeah. Coconuts.
Coconut.
Yeah. It's and they're like the real racists. When there's diversity, they're
because
you're part of the Republican Party. They claim you're something else, but then it's
what's more racist? Wanting the best for your country, or telling somebody they have to think a certain way because of the color of their skin.
And the funny thing is, I think it's like really powerful propaganda, because I've been on a few spaces on X, and there's white people that are calling this stuff out, but they always preface it with, guys, I don't want to sound racist. I'm not a racist person. Like,
you don't have to say that.
The only people that are going to take offense are Democrats, and you shouldn't worry about what they think about you. This is a party that kills babies, the party that injects children with hormone blockers and all kinds of other drugs, that mutilates children. Like, why do you care about these guys calling you a racist? They do some of the most horrific crimes against humanity in the modern world. Don't worry about that. You call out the evil as it is. It is evil, a lot of the stuff that's going on,
Yeah. A shout out to the video that I did about our poor star that's being defiled this month.
And the X comment, that was the comment we made on X, that was also quite...
Oh, yeah. Well, we have an
worded.
official, we have the official Conserving 915 response to what they're doing to the star, and we stand by it. Just call evil out, like Angel says.
Yeah, and white people, I think we got your back. You know, people who, if you're black, if you're brown, you're white, if you're Asian, I think as long as you love America, you love the Constitution, you're against a lot of the evil that's going on. We all have each other's back. You know, it's not like a race thing.
Well, it's just like what happened at the Bronx, like at the
Oh, yeah,
at the
exactly.
last
The Trump
one of the
rally.
most recent Donald Trump rallies. Like I didn't even see any white people. There was a bunch of black people and Hispanic people, and these Democrats are going crazy. They're saying, "Oh, the crowd wasn't that big," and then of course they show you a picture before everyone
Like 2 hours before everybody shows
before
up.
everyone shows up or afterwards. But during the crowd, you had a bunch of black people out there, you know. So all these Democrats, all the they want you to stay on their plantation, and it's time to leave that corrupt party.
Speaking of leaving the plantation, I hit up Judge Joe Brown too. Like,
Oh yeah,
he loves to talk about that stuff.
he's awesome.
There's a yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and check us out on X, Facebook, all that good stuff. Not Instagram or TikTok, because we're not that hip, apparently.
We're running a Mickey Mouse up.
We are. Don't forget, we are running a Mickey Mouse operation. So
We don't have any Gen Zers on this panel.
please be patient with us. We're trying our best. But yeah, check us out. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share the show with your friends, your frenemies, everybody that you know. See you. Peace.